That was a hot mess. I remember my internship director telling us that these surveys can strike the fear of God in you. And yeah, it did. Hi everyone, my name is Kim. I am a registered dietitian who's just coming home from work. Welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, there's some videos below that I do want you to take a look at. So don't be shy, go ahead and look around. Make yourself familiar with my channel, with the content, and remember to comment, like, as well as subscribe. For my returning subscribers, welcome. So today we're going to talk about a real topic, keeping it real. You guys know I'm all about keeping it real with you. We're going to be discussing 3 things you should know before becoming a dietitian and 3 things you should know immediately after passing your RD exam. And I'll be honest with you, if someone would have told me this information, it would have made my life much easier. So that's why I'm sharing it with you guys, because I want your life to be a little easier. So without any hesitation, let's just get right into it. So let's start off with before. 3 things you should know before becoming a dietitian. The first thing you should know before becoming a dietitian is that you and chemistry will become best friends, bosom buddies. And I know a lot of people are surprised that dietitians do take a lot of chemistry classes. And then these chemistry classes aren't just, you know, glossing over, skimming the surface. They actually do get in depth, in detail. Something that I would highly recommend if possible. I know I did this when I was in high school. I took Gen Chem as well as OChem, organic chemistry, because chemistry is a prerequisite. The other class that I did want to mention, it's not really challenging, but it can get a little tedious because there's a lot of memorization, is anatomy and physiology. So if you have the opportunity in high school to take anatomy and physiology and A&P class, an introduction to it, do it. Number 2, I will highly recommend that you volunteer. Not volunteer during your junior and your senior year when you're finding about the volunteering, but try to volunteer closer to your freshman and sophomore year. For me, for instance, I didn't realize that I had to volunteer. I had to get some experience to put on my application, to put on my resume until it was in my junior year. Don't find a volunteer activity that has nothing to do with food and nutrition, that has nothing to do with dietetics. Additionally, if you can work to get that experience in a food and nutrition service department, such as a nursing home or a hospital, or even volunteering at a food bank or homeless shelter, cooking and distributing food, that would be beneficial. The third thing that I think you should do is try to network with other professionals. Yes, this is something that I did not do, and it made my life a lot harder, because when I was looking for that recommendation letter from a dietitian, yeah, I didn't have it. For instance, going to Fancy. I'm always preaching about going to Fancy. This is where you are a walking resume. If you do have the opportunity, please attend Fancy as an undergrad. This is something that I did not do again. It didn't necessarily make my life harder, but it's something that, as I look back, hindsight is 2020, I wish I did. So those are the 3 things you should know before becoming a dietitian. So let's look at the 3 things you should know immediately after becoming a dietitian. These are pertinent information that you need to know. So the first thing that you should know is, after becoming a dietitian, expect surveys. Now, I don't know if this is true in the world of sports nutrition, but I know the 3 areas that I've worked in. I've worked as a renal dietitian, I've worked as a long-term care dietitian, and an acute care hospital clinical dietitian. And in each area, you're going to have surveys. So expect surveys. I remember my first survey. That was a hot mess. But fortunately, everything worked out well, and I started familiarizing myself with the questions that surveyors are going to ask you, with the information that you should have on hand, and what they're looking for when they're looking through your notes in a patient's chart. So expect surveys. I remember my internship director telling us that these surveys can strike the fear of God in you. And yeah, it did. Number 2 thing that you want to be familiar with, and I guess also it really depends what avenue that you're you're specializing in, you're going to have a diet manual. I actually have my diet manual sitting right there looking at it, but I'm not sure if my company actually wants me to show you my diet manual, so I'm not going to show it to you. But basically what the diet manual has is all the therapeutic diets, and again, this is a hospital setting that I have in my facility. It basically states this is what the patient gets, this is what the patient doesn't get. And one of my responsibilities in the hospital that I work is for everyone, all employees, to know where the location of the diet manual is. The diet manual tells the do's and don'ts of the specific diet. The third thing you should know immediately after becoming a dietitian is realize you're going to be placed in some odd situations where you're going to have to get real creative. What I mean by that is, you know, when you're reading your textbooks and you're seeing, oh, you know, if the patient has this, well, this is how you should treat them, and etc., etc. When you have a client that's not a cookie cutter client, you're gonna have to get creative, or you're gonna have to prioritize what you need to do for that patient. What is the most important thing? Yeah, these are essentials. So guys, these are the 3 things you should know before becoming a dietitian, and the 3 things you should know immediately after becoming a dietitian. For any other dietitian, ooh, my skin tone just changed, didn't it? It has like this reddish feel to it. I guess it's my undertone. So for any other dietitian who is out there that may be watching this, what are 3 things that you wish you knew before becoming a dietitian, and 3 things you wish you knew immediately after becoming a dietitian? Also, students out there, if you do have any questions, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. Have a good day. As usual, remember to comment, like, and subscribe. Bye.